Hello everyone, here we are, project number 3, Choir with Lyrics. So let's get started. All right, here we are. And the first thing we're going to do is with the setup wizard. So when you go to new and setup wizard, work with this SATB plus piano, soprano, alto, tenor, bass plus piano, and click next. And you can actually just remove the piano from the list. So then you already have your 4 voices set up. Save changes, we'll just say no. And then you can put in all of your title information there. So I have the file over here now, I already got it set up. The first thing you'll want to do is enter all the notes and rhythms. I think this is very important. Make sure you've got all the notes and rhythms correct before you start putting in the lyrics. So notes and rhythms is kind of review from what we did last time. One point I made in the assignment directions, be very careful when you have ties. So you'll notice up here, tie is if you put the cursor when you're in the speedy tool over a note and push equals. You'll see it doesn't show it until I click out. Equals, I can click out and see it, is a tie, and that's for your rhythmic values. Versus a slur is in the smart shape tool. You'll see that's where we have crescendos, slurs, trills, things like that. It's the one that looks like an arc. That one works, here I already drew one in here, by you double click the first note and drag to which note. You can see it's highlighting as I go. A slur. So slurs are for articulation and for when you have syllables, multiple syllables for a single syllable for multiple notes. That's what I meant to say. Or if you had, a phrase marking. So that's slur versus a tie. So be very careful which one you're doing. Slurs are for articulation, ties are for rhythmic values. There's a couple of commands I want to teach you right off the bat. This is this Command E on Mac or Control E on PC. And if you push Command E, it'll change the view. So it just changed it to what's called scroll view, and I can scroll back and forth. And I'll show you in a minute what this is useful for. If I push Command E again, it goes back to full score view. So very important. Later on in the class, we'll be using what's called studio view. You push Shift Command E, and it opens up a mixer. We'll be doing that when we do more with sound and plugging different sounds in. So I'm gonna, for now, push Command E again, or Control E if you're on a PC, to this score view. Is easy for now. You can set this score, you can see that it's in A minor, and you can actually set this, if you're on a PC, follow this, you go up to Edit and Enharmonic Spelling. If you're on a Mac, the new ones have, you go to Finale Enharmonic Spelling. I'm going to tell it to favor sharps, and this will automatically favor that if I'm entering to favor a G sharp. So it's kind of nice if you're in a, you're going to be in a key signature, it's really nice to have that. The new tool in this assignment is the lyric tool, and it's this funny little icon that looks like a pen, fountain pen, very old school. And I'm going to close that window because there's a lyrics window that you actually have to open up. So you go up to lyrics in the menu and click lyrics window to get that window to pop up. I already had it up because I was messing with it before class. And this is going to allow us to type our lyrics into the score. So there's a whole bunch of different buttons here, and if I hold the pointer over, you can see type into the score, click assignment, edit word extension, adjust syllables, shift lyrics, and clone lyrics. And that's the directions here have kind of the names and show you, and I describe what each one does. we want to type our lyrics in. So I'm going to go to this first button, type into score. Once you push that button, then you go back to the staff, and you see how there's a little arrow? I'm going to tell it we're going to work with just this first staff. You'll see I clicked right above the note and it gave me a little cursor. Now I can type my lyrics in. And the way the lyrics work, it's a little bit funny because it has a delay from what you type. So always go to the next note before you decide that it didn't work. So that's one thing I tell people over and over. Just go to the next note and make sure that, see if your letter or your hyphen was correct after you go to the next note. So here we go. I'm going to type A, and then for multisyllable words, you're going to click dash. And do you see I clicked dash and it didn't show it yet? Now I'm going to type do dash, and you see it's like it's actually 2 notes behind, which is kind of annoying, right? But that's how it does it. Ra dash moose. Now I'm at the end of the word adoramus. To go to the next word, you push space bar. Now te is its own word. Space. Now Christe, all one word, CHRI dash STE, comma. So far so good. Adoramus te Christe. So dash, which is the one right next to the equal sign up in your number keys, or space bar to go to the next word. You'll notice that these are actually linked. So some people like to type, you can actually type the lyrics all in this box first and then do what's called click assign. So you can do it in reverse. But try it this way I did for now. Just know that these 2 boxes are linked. For example, if I click over in this box and I start erasing, you'll see it erased it in my score. So there is a link between these 2 boxes. Just to throw that out there. So let's try it again. I like to see that it's entering correctly here in the score. So that's the way I do it. If you find a different way where you click and do it, enter it there and click later, that's fine. All right. If I go to another tool, you'll see it put this long extension because it's saying you're not done yet. Do you want the singers to keep singing Christe forever? Well, sometimes it'll put these word extensions where you don't want them. And you see how it extended to the next line? This is where the scroll view comes in handy. So Command E, back from this set of directions, I can actually now, when I go back to the lyric tool, I'm going to go to this part of the lyric tool, edit word extension, and it gives me access to mess with this long extension. And some cases when you're writing choral music, you may want to be able to do this to show an extension. So you can drag it to where you want to. And let's see what it did there. It did it there. Or you can click it and just delete it. Say, I don't want an extension there. If you keep going with your lyrics, go back to click assign, it'll get rid of the extension anyway. So that's another way to do it, is just to continue, because it says, oh, of course you don't want an extension there. You went to another word. So et ben, and notice how the ben has the extends through the next note. So I'm going to push dash twice, D, and that's tied, G dash moose space T. And we'll go on to B just to be cool. Okay. Great. So what I suggest you do is enter all the notes and all the rhythms, and then enter the lyrics for the entire top part. Then what you can do through this button, the clone lyrics button, is go back to the lyrics tool. Here's the clone. You're going to select the measures, so you'll actually select the whole part, and you can actually do this with, if you change to the scroll view and you go all the way to the end, you can hold the shift down and shift click, because there'll be lyrics going all the way through. And then let's go back to the staff view. Then you can grab the whole chunk, keep holding the mouse down, and drag it into the other parts. So you do not have to type the lyrics 4 times. Yay! Isn't that make you so happy? All right, and I'll do it again, drag it in each part. What you will need to do is, you'll see there's a couple of places where it deviates. If you look at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, measure 20, you'll see that the altus part is different from the tenor part. They have a little bit of a rhythmic change, even though they all land on beat 3 on the word moon, mundi, mundum. So in that case, you can go in back to the type into the score. Let's say if I needed to, what would be a good example? Like, let's just pretend if I needed to change this to say Christe here and extend, I could change just that little chunk. So you'll have to go in, and any chunks that deviate, you can do it individually by retyping it into the score. It's one of the other reasons I like this typing into the score, because if you did it over here, you'd have Autoramus Te duplicated, and it would be difficult to do this individual editing that you'll need to do for the parts. Okay, I'm going to do Command Z or Control Z is undo. I don't know if I showed that to you, but very important Command Z, undo, undo. And Finale has infinite undo, which is awesome. So I just took us back to the point where we were. Great, so positioning triangles. When you're in the lyrics tool and you click right above a staff, you'll notice each staff has this little box that's kind of following me around with little triangles in it. And this is called the positioning triangles. And each of these 4 triangles have different properties. The furthest one on the left, if I move it, moves everything in my entire score. See how it moved all my lyrics, everything, which you may want to do. Let's say you're like, oh, everything's too close, it needs to be further away. Second one in moves everything in the current staff that I'm on. So it'll move my entire cantus part up or down. See, it moved the B even here. It'll move it through the whole part. Undo that. Third one in will move only the stuff in the staff on the line that I'm on. So we'll only move this line. So it won't affect anything else but just this system, which you may want to do if there's a particular thing. The fourth one in is if you want to change the starting point from here on out. So once I start typing here, hello, or something, you know, it's something like that, it makes everything after the point where I was at a different level. So that one, I don't think I've ever used that for a score. So that's how they work from left to right. And you can refer to this over here if you have questions. Forget. All right, some final touches on the layout. You'll want to make it exactly like it is on the original. So this was a good challenge for some scoring and arranging things. You'll use the page layout tools, the paper looking icon, and go up to the menu and adjust systems and page margins. So you can play with those, use some of the specifications that we've had in the previous classes to get this to fit. You can also, and I'll show this more later, but in the staff tool, you can grab, there's little triangles here. If I click on, not a triangle, square, little squares here, I can ever so slightly bring a staff, I double click, it'll affect the whole staff closer. So this is a good way at the very end, after you've entered everything, to kind of give yourself a little bit more if you need to kind of squeeze stuff together. So it's a staff tool. That's a little trick that I was going to show you later, but I showed you right now. You'll also want to use, when I publish scores, I publish them at 90%. So this is the resize tool or percentage tool. And click on that and then click in the score and it says resize page. I do everything at least at 90%. You see how that gave me a lot of extra room for this. So you can do that to try to fit. There's one courtesy accidental in the piece. It's actually down here in the end. To do a courtesy accidental, so to show something that's already represented, right? They want you to show an F natural here because it was F sharp in the measure before. You click over it when you're using speedy entry and click Shift asterisk, and that will give what we call a courtesy accidental, a reminder to the performer. All right, and I already showed the ties versus slurs. So enjoy this assignment, and I look forward to seeing the finished product.